Yeah. My first conscious exposure to Baroque music happened shortly after I took up the violin, when I was about 7 years old. Being preoccupied with everything having to do with the violin and orchestral music in general, it was by chance that I caught a broadcast of Arcadia and his Concertus Musicus in a performance of the Brandenburgs one evening. I found the odd instruments, the viols, the harpsichord, to be particularly intriguing. Soon I became less interested in learning how to play the violin and more interested in the history surrounding the instrument, its construction, and the music written during the period coinciding with its early development. I'd like to think I've developed a style of writing that, while thoroughly faithful to the conventions of the 17th and 18th centuries, is nevertheless fresh and contemporary. I don't seek to emulate or parrot a particular composer, but I do try to write music that I'd actually enjoy listening to. Bach, Handel, and Corelli are some of my favorite composers. Their influence is certainly palpable, and it's safe to say I picked up a lot of the musical language from them, but I don't go around thinking, what would they do when setting out to write a piece of music? Writing music isn't particularly difficult. Ideas come and go daily. Writing music to fit a made-to-order purpose, especially when the commission has clear expectations as far as tempo, key, and affectation are concerned, can be rather difficult. This was perhaps the most prominent challenge I encountered when I was approached by R. Douglas Jacobs to write the soundtrack. While the major part of the movements were written expressly for this project, the challenge of coming up with something to fit the mood of a particular section of the story was alleviated by my having a substantial body of existing work to draw from. It also gave me the opportunity, or rather excuse, to finish a few pieces of music that had been sitting unfinished on the shelf for some years. I don't write music for a living, and I'm an amateur in the purest sense of that word. But I'd like to think I've attained a certain level of proficiency in this avocation. Writing this music not as a one-off for some historical reenactment, but as part of a stylistically consistent and unified body of work.